Hi, I'm Tim, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use this WireGuard with this by Grandstream GCC 6011. So in this video I'm going to show you how to remotely access your Grandstream network using WireGuard. Now this applies to all Grandstream routers, including the GCC series and also the GWN 7000 series as well. So let's hop onto the computer behind me and get this set up right now. So here we are, and I've logged in to my GCC 6011 as you'll see here. Now whether you're using a GCC series from Grandstream or a GWN 7 series router or router, whichever you like to call it, you should find the options in here very similar. So what you need to do first is get into the networking section. So click on networking. This should take you in to the network settings screen here, and you should have a menu at the left hand side similar to this one or the same. So what you're looking for is the VPN section. So click on the arrow to bring the drop down, and you should see that you have an option for WireGuard. So click on WireGuard, then this will take you into the Wireguard Server configuration screen like you will see here. So what you need to do is click on the Add button. This will take you into the settings screen for the Wireguard Server. So what you need to do is first give it a name. You can call it anything you like. So in this case I'll call it Grandstream. Then what you need to do is enable the server option. So select the slider, and this should turn it blue like you see it has done. Then for the interface, what you can do is select a WAN connection that will accept the incoming connections to your WireGuard server. So I'm only using one WAN connection at the moment, which is WAN 3, so this is what is in there by default. But if you're using multiple WAN connections, then what you can do is click the drop down arrow and select between WAN 1, 2, 3 and so on. So I'll leave it as WAN 3, which is the only one I have in use at the moment. And for monitoring port, you can leave that as default. So it should be 51820 as default, or whichever number is showing in there, but just leave it as default, don't change it. Then in the local IP address, what we need to do is set an IP address for our WireGuard server. So in this case, we'll use 10.0.0.1. So as you can see, I've typed in 10.0.0.1. Then in the subnet mask, I'll type in 255.255.255.0. And as you'll see, I've got 255.255.255.0 typed in the subnet mask box here. Then for the destination, you'll see it's default to all, which means it will allow you to access all of the VLANs and WAN connections, which is what we don't want. So what we're going to do is click the little drop down arrow in the destination box here, and you will see we've got ticked all by default. So untick this, then you will see it's got a default in WAN 3, which cannot be changed because we've selected the interface here as WAN 3. So leave that as it is, as you won't be able to change it anyway. And then what you need to do is select the VLAN that you want to allow access to. So if you haven't already created VLANs and you want to create VLANs, then you might find it helpful to have a look at my YouTube channel, and you'll find recently, around the same date as this video, you'll find a video on how to create VLANs in a Grandstream network. So you might want to have a look at that before setting your WireGuard up. So what I'm going to do is allow access to the guest VLAN only. So what we're going to do is tick guest, and then in the destination box you'll see we've just got WAN 3 and guest VLAN. So click out of this box. Then you'll see we've got an automatically generated private key, so leave this as it is, and you'll also see there's a public key, so leave that as it is as well. We've also got maximum transmission unit, MTU, as 1420, so leave that as default, and then all you need to do is click save. Now what this has done is set up our WireGuard server and enabled it so it's working. So now what we need to do is create our clients. So in this case, what you need to do to create a client is in the operation column here, you'll see we've got 3 boxes or 3 icons. Now what you need to do is select the middle icon. So it looks like a piece of paper with a curved arrow in it. So it's just one in the middle there. So select this. This will take you in to the Wireguard client configuration screen. So this is where you add a client. So in the box at the top, we've got name. So we'll type a name in there as Tim. Enable this client. In the IP address box, we'll leave that as default, which is already generated as 10.0.0.2, which is the next IP address up from the one on our server, what we created as 10.0.0.1. For the pre-shared key box, you can leave that as disabled. And for allowed IP address, leave that as 4 zeros. And also for the other one after the slash, leave that as 0. For the DNS, you can either leave that as Google's DNS, which is 8.8.8.8, or you can change it to a DNS server of your choice. I like to use 9.9.9.9, so I'll change this. So as you'll see, I've now got 9.9.9.9 in there. For the alternative DNS, we can leave that blank. So all you need to do then is click save. Then you've got a message on screen saying generate successfully. So what you can either do is on the mobile device that you want to allow access to your WireGuard VPN server, what you can do is either scan this QR code shown on screen, which I've blanked out for security reasons, or you can either click download terminal peer configuration file or download terminal peer QR code. So what you could do is either download the configuration file and you could send it to your client that you want to allow access to your WireGuard server. You can either email it to them or send it through a secure file transfer service, or you can download the QR code, print it out and then give them the piece of paper with the QR code on for them to use, or you could just send them the QR code. So what I'm going to do in this case is download the peer configuration file. So we'll click this. Then it will ask us to save the peer configuration file. So as you can see, I've got the downloads folder open on screen. So what I'm going to do is overwrite the peer_tim.conf file here with the new one and click save and replace it. So we'll click yes. Then what you can do is close the generate successfully window here by clicking X, and it will take you back to your WireGuard server setup screen here. So you'll see we've got the WireGuard server, it's enabled, it's called Grandstream, and it's given the public IP address to which the incoming connections will be from. I've obviously blanked it out for security reasons, but it would be under WireGuard address here in this column. So now that you've created your WireGuard server, you've created a client, what you can do if you want to create more clients is you would click the paper icon with the arrow in it. So it's a central icon under the operations column. So you click this, and then what you do is add a new person. So give them a new name, enable it, leave the IP address, leave pre-shared key, leave allowed IP address. All you need to do then is change the preferred DNS server if you wish, or you can leave it as 8.8.8.8, which is Google's DNS server. And then what you do is click save. So let's do this as a test. So we'll call this Bob, enable it, and just click save. And then download the peer configuration file again, click X, and this will take you back to your WireGuard server. Now, if you want to look at your clients that you've configured, all you need to do is at the top here, you'll see next to WireGuard, you'll see we've got peers. So select peers, and then this will take you into the list of clients that have been created and allowed to access the WireGuard server. So you can create clients in here using the square and the pen icon, but I find it much easier just to go into WireGuard here at the top and use that central icon, the paper icon with the arrow under the operation column, as it will automatically fill in most of the information for you. So that's the best option I've found and the easiest way to do it. So what you do then is go back to the peers, and as you can see, we've got two clients, as I've just said. So when they connect to your Wireguard server, you will see we have an endpoint address, which is blank, last handshake, and actual endpoint address port. Now, when the client connects, you'll have information in there in these three columns where the dashes are. So once they're connected and live, you will have information populated in these three columns here to show you that the client actually connected to your network. So what I'm going to do to test this for you is I'm just going to pause the video for the time being, and what I'm going to do in the background is email the configuration file to my mobile phone, connect it to my public Wi-Fi network, and then I'll connect to the Wireguard VPN server here. So I'll show you that on screen once I've done this. So you'll now see I've projected my mobile phone screen onto my computer screen here, and I've already downloaded Wireguard, as you'll see here, which I've downloaded from the usual app store. So it's free to download, so you'll find it both for Apple and Android. So what we need to do is click Wireguard, and this will open Wireguard, as you will see here. Now what we need to do in the bottom right corner is click the plus button, and then what we need to do is either scan from QR code if you've sent the QR code, or what you can do is import file. Now, as I said, I downloaded the file and sent it to my mobile. So what we'll do is click import from file. Then what we'll do is select the file. As you'll see here, we've got peer Tim. So we'll click on this, and as you can see, it's now imported peer Tim into Wireguard here. So all we need to do if we want to connect to our server is click the green slider here, which is now turned it green. And if we click on peer Tim, you'll see that we now have an interface and a public key connection, IP address, DNS server, and it's showing you that we're now connected to our VPN on Grandstream. So to prove this, we'll just go back to my GCC, go back into networking, then select VPN and go into Wireguard and then click peers. And as you'll see, Tim is now connected to the Wireguard server. So it's showing the actual IP address where it's connected from, the last handshake, and the endpoint address and port is blank, which is supposed to be. So we're now connected to the Grandstream network via Wireguard. So to prove this, what we'll do is close the Wireguard while it's still working. We'll go back and open up Brave, for example, and then type in an IP address for our Grandstream router, click advanced and proceed. And as you can see, it's now loaded the sign in to GCC 6011 page. So that proves that it's connected via Wireguard to my Grandstream network, and we're at the router login page. So that's how easy it is to set up Wireguard so that you can have remote access to your home network and VLAN as well. So I hope you found this video useful, and keep a lookout, more videos coming again soon. So thanks for watching, take care, bye for now.